While the audio editor is great for mastering one song at a time, it's the montage that really adds power to your ability to master multiple audio files all at the same time, and that's great when you're working with a collection of music. Let me take you through how the montage works. Let's just create a brand new montage, so I'll click the New button and then choose Audio Montage. Then you could choose from a series of templates right here, but we're just going to make a custom one that is CD compatible in stereo and at 44.1 kilohertz. Then hit the Create button. And at first, it may not look much different from the audio editor, especially after we've loaded an audio file. I'm going to right or control click down here and choose Insert Audio Files and just insert a single file that we can look at quickly. And it doesn't look much different, right? The waveforms in the background are a little bit of a different color, but the difference is that we can load multiple audio files inside of this montage. So here's our first clip, and then if we wanted to add another audio file, then we can add, let's see, this file. And we can choose to add or mix it. You'll notice that they're overlapping right now, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But now I have two different audio files loaded into the montage. Not only can I load multiple files onto one track, but I can add multiple tracks. Let's add another stereo track, and you can see that we can put different audio clips onto different tracks. That gives us the flexibility to do a number of things. If we wanted to composite a couple of audio files together, we can have them both playing simultaneously. But most people will put individual tracks on individual songs when it comes to mastering. But when you've started to add multiple tracks, it starts to resemble something that you may have used in the past, which is a DAW, or digital audio workstation, where you can have multiple tracks playing either simultaneously or just located on different tracks. And that way you can process each of those tracks separately. And I'll talk about how to do that a little bit later also. But it's important to know that any audio files that you have loaded into a montage by default will go through the master section, which is a real time saver if you've got a lot of material to master from the same artist or the same band, and all of the tracks were recorded at the same time and they sound somewhat similar, so the treatments that you would apply to those audio files may be very similar from track to track. And that way, when you add a master rig or any other sort of mastering processing to the master section, any treatments that you set up inside of the mastering plugins will be applied to all of the tracks, because all the tracks go through the master section by default. And you can also have the entire montage play through the master section or bypass the master section, similarly to the way that you would do so on an audio file in the audio editor. And let's quickly look at some of the other track controls. The M and the S buttons are for mute and solo, and that allows you to mute or solo each individual track. There's also a track effect button, which we'll go over later. If you're recording into an audio montage, then there's a record, enable, and monitor switch for that situation as well. And one other important thing that I've already talked about a little bit is that the editor tabs are going to be different between an audio file and an audio montage. But something else that you should know is that the tab groups will change whether you are in an audio file editor or the montage editor. In other words, if we were to add an audio file to this file group, like this audio file, now we have a montage with a montage icon and an audio file with the audio icon. But when you switch between those two different file types, you'll see that the tab group in our upper corner right here is going to change a little bit, because in the montage you have a CD page and you have a clips page. Those are specific to montages, where those two different tabs are not available in the audio editor. So they will change a little bit. If you suddenly start to see new tabs, that's why. It's because you're now using an audio montage. So that's an overview of the montage. Next, let's talk about track effects.